I'm Simon Bransfield-Garth. I'm CEO of Azuri Technologies based in Cambridge, England. So Azuri Technologies came out of necessity. We started off working with new type of solar panel, and we were trying to find new markets for solar. And in that process, we started looking at emerging markets. At the time, many people had thought of emerging markets, but very few people had really taken them as a serious commercial opportunity. In the research we did, we identified that there are some 600 million people in sub-Saharan Africa who didn't have access to mains electricity. And so we started looking at why solar power wasn't already being used in those markets. What we discovered was that actually the business case for solar power is extremely compelling. But unfortunately, people are unable to afford the initial cost of solar. But at the same time, we've been doing work with mobile phone technology. So we came up with the idea of combining mobile phone technology and solar technology to enable people to pay for their power in the same way as they pay for their mobile phones, on a pay-as-you-go basis. And that was the basis on which we then founded the Azuri Technologies business model. From the very earliest days, Azuri realized that we needed to work with partners within Africa in order to be able to go to market. We have a good understanding of technology, but we don't have a really strong understanding, or at least at that time, didn't have a good understanding of the end customer market. So we worked with a partner in Kenya to enable us to identify customers, to specify the product, and to build out the whole customer proposition. We started off in a small region of Kenya called Kitale in the west of Kenya with a single entrepreneur. And that entrepreneur, over the following few years, built up a very successful business delivering pay-as-you-go solar power within Kenya region. When you or I move house, we just expect to have power there. We don't expect to have to build our own power station. We expect to be able to just pay for the power as we use it. With many renewables, people are expected, in effect, to build their own power station. They have to put up a wind turbine, or they have to put a solar panel on the roof, or so on. And that requires people to have savings. For many people who are earning perhaps $3 or $4 a day, people simply don't have the savings to be able to do that. And this gives rise to something that's known as the poverty trap, where people are spending so much on their day-to-day living, they're unable to afford the technologies which will enable them to spend less on their day-to-day living. Pay-as-you-go enables people to pay for their solar power as they use it, in exactly the same way as you or I would pay for any other utility. But the neat trick is that after about 18 months, then the customer owns the product and no longer has to pay. So the customer gets the advantage of being able to pay for a service as they use it and a guaranteed service delivery from Azuri. And then after a period of time, they own the product and no longer have to pay any further. Pay-as-you-go was enabled by a number of things. The first thing was the emergence of certain technologies. The cost of solar panels had come down very rapidly, but really critically, the LED light became very prevalent. And so by combining lower cost solar panels and lower power consuming lighting, we were able to make a product that met the price point of the customer. What's happened since then is the notion of using the latest technology to deliver to emerging countries is really taking hold. And what we're now finding is people are taking that idea and extending it to enable people to get access to radio or television or other devices in exactly the same way. Instead of putting out-of-date technology into emerging markets, we're using the very latest technology to enable people to get access to media and ultimately the knowledge economy that previously wasn't available to them.